Yeah, we're here for our final match of the night here, week 4. Phyrexia All will be one league. We got Trevor, who's a relative newcomer to our server in his third league. And he's playing against Maxime, so one of our, if we had a Hall of Fame, I think for our league, he'd be one of the first inductees. So Trevor's taking a mulligan here. We see he actually sent me his deck earlier, so I have a good idea of what he's doing. It's mostly a black-white toxic deck, splashing some green, and he has 2 copies of the Wanderer up at the top of his curve, just in case his aggressive toxic strategy needs needs a heavy hitter. And I also got to look at Maxime's deck. It's kind of interesting. So I guess we'll find out what's in his hand. But he was running basically like a base black red deck with a few green cards and a Kaido.
Yeah, he's going a bit more greedy with his mana, trying to realize that he probably just wants to play all his powerful cards, and he has a lot of them, so
Yeah,
something to look out for.
Yeah, he got 4 Terramorphic Expanse in his reroll, so pretty good for him. Yeah, so Trevor's got kind of the 2-drop you want, but he doesn't have any more lands, so he's going to need lands. He's going to need lands 3 and 4 in order for his hand really to function, because he has Necrogen Rot Priest, he has 2 Indoctrination Attendants, he has Zealot's Conviction, and a Vivisection Evangelist. So he needs lands, and he needs them right away.
Yeah, he's in a pretty scary situation, actually, because it's
Ooh.
sometimes only wishing for one land is okay, but when you need to hit running lands, that's most of the time your deck doesn't want to provide you with that.
Yeah, so he has not drawn a line. He's drawn an Anoint with Affliction, so he can get rid of, I guess, one of these tokens. You never feel good using a removal spell on these tokens, but sometimes
Yeah,
that's how it goes. All right, so he's got his land here. So if he could land an Indoctrination Attendant next turn, I don't know what we'll find out what's in Maxime's hand, but he might be able to stabilize before this game gets out of hand. What's
okay, well, Maxime's hand
yeah.
is 2 Shrapnel Slinger and a Tyvar stand. That's what he has going on, and
Okay.
still has the sack. Probably will continue using the sack and hold up the Tyvar stand.
Yeah. So the shrapnel slinger not at its best against Trevor's deck specifically, but card is just generally useful. Yeah. So Trevor, this is his first time in the feature match. He's like I mentioned, he's relatively new to our server. This is his third league, but he's already got a top 16 under his belt, and he's currently in the top 8. He's 13-6 so far. So definitely a very capable player. Just despite only being with us a short amount of time. Yeah, so Maxime's gonna save his 3/3 from removal here, and okay, so he's got a land here, so he could play his
All right,
Indoctrination Attendant. He can bounce back his Prism to hand,
that's
as
some
you do,
sweet value there.
and
Maxime has drawn a second Tyvar stand, so
okay, yeah, he can also just equip up one of the 3/3s and attack into the Indoctrination Attendant as well. But he
yeah, but now
says,
you can safely
don't
attack
need.
with
Yeah,
everything.
I just use my other Tyvar stand.
Yeah, it's fortunate for Maxime because it lets him get to attack with everything as opposed to only 1/3/3.
Yep. And I mean, yeah, Trevor basically is more or less required to block here. I don't think he can afford not to. Yeah. He has another
Yeah,
Indoctrination Attendant coming. And what's interesting is that if he doesn't draw land, he can actually bounce his planes, and then he'll have Zealot's Conviction being held up.
okay.
And, it's just a +1/+1, but it might matter. All right, so Tyvar stand number 2.
Okay, so Maxime probably discarding one of these 2 drops, seeing it's not going to be very decent.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
identified that the shrapnels. This is not really the game for a shrapnel slinger. I mean, here he still gets to just cast it as a 2/2.
yeah, probably want to look for a land there so they could use all his mana efficiently.
Yeah. So
But he drew a Vindictive Flamestoker, which can draw him more cards later if he has the mana for it.
yeah. So I don't know how much proliferate he has in his deck, but he might want to just leave that last counter on the incubation sack in case he gets a chance to proliferate. But if he has a chance to get ahead, he's just gonna take that. He's just going to use the last counter if he feels it's going to win him the game in short order. All right, so he's got a Terramorphic here. He can get a Forest. He'll be able to cast Necrogen Rot Priest, but he gets to cast another copy of Indoctrination Attendant here, so not too bad.
Yeah, it'll block very well. Well, as in it'll make it so Maxime can only attack with one card, with one creature.
Yeah, so deciding if he wants to bounce, and yeah, he doesn't want to set himself back a land here because he does have stuff to do with his mana. So he's just going to play the 3/4, and it's going to be forced to trade with one of these tokens here. Yeah, and Barb Batterfist just such a solid card. This card just does everything,
Yeah, at the beginning of the format, it just looked very unassuming. It's like a 3/1, which like it's just like
Yeah.
2 mana 3/1. That's kind of what we get all the time. But then this set, it's like it's an equipment that has a creature on it, so it becomes infinitely times better with all the non-creature casting synergies and just artifact synergies and just equipment synergies. It becomes just a very solid and good card.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, I haven't really remembered seeing a +1/-1 equipment at common really. For like, it's a very interesting design, and like you said, it's good for the equipment deck. It's good for just an aggro deck because it's a 3/1. It's good for the non-creature deck. So even the red-blue decks, which maybe want to go a little bit longer, it triggers all their non-creature stuff, all those creatures that get oil counters from non-creatures, and it defends, and it's early defense. So just there's no deck that doesn't want Barb Batterfists, and many of them. So really, really strong 2-drop here. Yeah. So he does play his Necrogen Rot Priest, so he can at least Trevor can defend himself here. So what's next?
We're hyping up Bard Batterfist, so he's drawn another Bard Batterfist, and now he can actually get through that 1/5.
He can make a 5/1. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just seeing the power of just equipment, like just something minor as like +1/-1, just doing so much work against these higher toughness creatures.
Yeah. It's good to just get your creatures able to trade with creatures that you otherwise wouldn't. Like equipping for 1 is just so strong. Okay, he's putting it on the Shrapnel Slinger.
Oh, because I think that's 7 damage, so he's 1 off lethal if he attacks with everything.
4, 3. No, it would be 8. Oh, it would be 8. No.
Oh yes, if he's
everything's 3. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah. That's
another thing Barb Batterfist does is it just gives you lethal attacks. There we go.
Yeah, very well piloted.
Yeah, well, I didn't get a chance to talk too much about Maxime, but he's, like I said, he's one of the best players that we have on this server. I've known him, from the store for a very long time, and I think I first played against him in a FNM draft when he must have been in his early teens, and I was impressed then, and he's just gotten better since then.
Yeah, very solid mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah, I often say like there's not too many players that I know on this server that make fewer mistakes than him. If you're gonna beat him, it's not because he made a mistake. That's for sure. Yeah, just very solid player. Yeah, and he's I think I saw he's 11-8, so he's doing okay this league. But if he doesn't make top 8, he can still rest on the fact that he co-holds the record for the most top 8 appearances and the most league wins. So he's doing well.
I think he's like up there in like most total league winnings as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, like I said, just really good player. When I played against him when he was very, very young, and was impressed then, and like I said, he's only gotten better. So yeah, so Trevor's deck, he did send me a screenshot earlier, so I saw it's a white-black deck. He has a few green cards. He has a couple of incubation sacks, I guess just for late game. Doesn't really do anything with his toxic, but just a good card. He has a Necrogen Rot Priest and a Viral Spawning. Yeah, so his deck's very, very focused on toxic. Like I said, he does have the two wanderers up at the top end, but basically the rest of his deck is very focused on getting poison counters, and Maxime's deck is sort of just good stuff.
Yeah, looking at his deck list now, it's just solidly Jund with Kaito.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have a White Suns or a Wanderers, so he's playing everything except planes.
Yeah, the main pulls of being in white.
Oh yeah. All right, so I think Trevor. I think he made a couple of small changes here. Took out, I think, a copy of Zealot's Conviction, but no major revamps here.
Yeah, Maxime put in looked at putting in the Whispers of the Dross and the 5 mana 5/5 Menace Reach.
Okay.
Probably just wants more stuff. Like, Reach is very good against the black-white toxic deck because they do have some flying
Yeah.
toxic, specifically Flensing Raptor.
Yeah, and Trevor actually has 3 copies of the Flensing Raptor, so
Okay.
yeah, none in hand right now. His hand is quite slow for what his deck's trying to do. In hand he has 3 lands. He has Indoctrination Attendant and a Black Sun's Twilight. And he has a nice little Prophetic Prism here to draw him, unfortunately, another land. So I think he's done drawing lands in his mind.
Yeah, like not typically what the black-white archetype wants to do. They want to get out fast, but
Yeah.
Trevor does have a lot of good high end to kind of supplement for his shortcoming here
Yeah.
in the early game.
And he's drawn a nice creature here. The Bladed Ambassador holds down the ground, attacks well. So what else does Maxime hold in there aside from the Batter Fist that he played?
Well, currently he's off green mana. It's not affecting him too much. It just stops him from being able to cast a Tyvar stand.
Okay.
But he has a Hex Gold Slash and a Hazardous Blast that he'll be able to cast next turn, along with 2 Nimraiser Paladins that he'll need to draw a land for.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like from taking a look at his deck, I think like green was his. I wouldn't call it a splash, but it was the least represented of his 3 main colors. All right, so
Yeah, yeah.
the Hex Gold Slash is going to be brought out here, and I don't think Trevor's going to be too upset with that because he does have a Flensing Raptor as a follow up here, which will not get Hex Gold Slashed. So
Yeah, I think if Maxime had more creatures in his hand that he's reliably able to cast, he might have just like let his creature die and hoped to get more stuff with the Hazardous Blast.
yeah, I imagine Trevor would have preferred to probably play the Indoctrination Attendant that turn and then target it with the Flensing Raptor, but since Maxime blocked, he had to take the oil counter off. But Flensing Raptor was a fine play as well. Yeah, now he can land his Indoctrination Attendant, and he has 3 other lands in hand, but he does have a Black Sun's Twilight, so that can really turn the game around from if it's looking like he's falling behind, and if he's ahead, he can definitely press the advantage.
Yeah, notably the X equals 5 on Black Sun's Twilight brings the creature back tapped, but so you can't just like cheese people even more with it.
Yeah, so I mean, the only creature he has in his graveyard right now is the Bladed Ambassador. But basically,
Yeah,
anytime you get to bring back anything, you're pretty happy. You get to kill
yeah,
something
yeah.
and bring back something. I don't think you're that upset if it's just a 2 drop.
It's a very good use of 6 mana. Yeah,
Yeah, so Paladin here just as a 5 mana 4/4.
have to
So
play something.
oh yeah, he
Well,
okay. He's got a Whispers of the
Maxime
Dross here. He can pick off that token if he feels the need to.
Maxim will be able to save a bunch of his stuff for a couple of turns. Like he has another Nimraiser Paladin that he can play next turn, and also has double Tyvar stand, so his
Yeah.
stuff will be remaining relatively safe.
Yeah, I feel like with Whisper of the Dross in hand, he could have, if he wanted to, attacked with the 3/4 and used Whispers of the Dross if they block with the 4/4. But he
Yeah,
said he said maybe I'll use that on blocks. But let's see what comes of this. Yeah, so I assume the 4/4 is getting in. He said he at least had what, Tyvar stand.
yeah, he has 2 of them.
All right, and
So yeah, there's 4/4 coming in.
Trevor knows that he's seen 2 of them already, so he's gonna try and not walk into it if he can help it.
gonna be a bit hard though, because like Maxime is kind of just out muscling Trevor at the moment with just his bodies.
Yeah. So Trevor has the option of when he untaps of using his. Oh, okay.
He drawn the Wanderer.
No, he's drawn a Vivisection Evangelist, which in combination with his Whisper of the Dross, or he's actually just getting him to toxic with the Flensing Raptor. He'll be able to kill one of these paladins, and
Okay.
it won't get Tyvar's. It won't be protected by Tyvar stand. And interestingly, we'll see if Trevor picks up on it. Having seen two Tyvar stand in one game, he might want to cast Black Sun's Twilight if and when Maxime taps out again.
Yeah, good point. Uh,
Yeah. So
Maxime
Evangelist
has
doing what it's supposed to do here.
Maxime has drawn a Shield's Edict, which will probably just end up killing a Flinting Raptor. At this point in time.
Yeah. Well, if he does cast it, I could see Trevor just opting to get rid of the 3/4 or even the 4/4. It's just the Flensing Raptor is actually his source of damage right now. So I
Yeah.
imagine he wouldn't be too interested in getting rid of that. Yeah, he's just gonna throw this Evangelist in front. Like if Maxime wants to use a trick, he doesn't care. Like the Evangelist already killed the 4/4. So yeah.
Oh, the Evangelist in tandem with Black Sun's Twilight's pretty nasty, actually,
Yeah,
when I think about
and it is instant speed, so
it. Wow, yeah, that's
I think he's okay having this card go into his graveyard. I think he's
does the
perfectly fine with it.
Black Sun's Twilight fizzle if the target creature is dead, or does it also target something in the graveyard if you cast a Rex equals 5?
I'll have to see when when it comes up on the screen. Yeah, I don't know if it says return target creature or return a creature. That would that is important, but he has tapped his green here, so
Yeah, having only one green source is quite hindering here because you can't just keep up a second Tyvar stand.
yeah. So if, like I said, if Trevor picks up on the fact that there could be another Tyvar stand coming, might just choose to Black Suns, now. But we'll see what he decides. Yeah, he can just attack all here. Yeah. Yeah, and a double block on the 3/4 is not going to work out because he has Whispers of the Dross. So
Yeah, I'm kind of just putting the advantage bar towards Trevor at the moment, and it's slowly creeping that way as this game is progressing.
yeah, well, the Vivisection Evangelist really swung things pretty rapidly.
Oh yeah,
All right, so here's the Edict. So let's see. I mean, Flensing Raptor, like I said, is his reliable source of damage. So this is a
kind of a
pretty big
reliable
choice
source of
here.
poison also.
Yeah, it's pretty big choice here.
I think the one thing I didn't like about Shield's Edict is that the first two options are virtually similar.
I mean, it's better than the edicts that we usually see, but
Yeah,
it's not like immensely better. He is just going to Black Suns here. Okay.
yeah, kill off the Name Razor Paladin, get back the Evangelist, kill off the 3/1 token.
Then he can just sack the Evangelist if he wants, and he gets to keep all his attackers.
Yeah,
All right. So really nice play here. This is this is what we like to see. Big powerful plays here. Look at this. Yeah, kills that. Now he can just, like I said, sack the Evangelist.
yeah, bring him down to 5 to 7 poison. I mean, the poison at this point doesn't really matter all too much unless he takes
Yeah.
exactly 3 times 1 damage.
Yeah, really sweet play. Smart timing of it in response to the edict. Bring that back. Basically kill two creatures and then sack the 4/4. Don't need it. I want to keep attacking. So what are Maxime's options here? What has he
Well, they're
got?
not looking very great.
No.
Like he has a Tyvar stand. That's the Tyvar stand here. He has a Hazardous Blast. I think if he really wanted to live, he'd probably have the Hazardous Blast, then keep Tyvar's stand to block the 3/4. But that just seems like you're always losing. You're always losing every time if you're doing
Yeah,
that.
he realizes that that's not really an option, so he's just gonna see if the top of his deck provides more answers here.
Okay, so top of the deck give him Whisper of the Dross, which is better than Hazardous Blast.
And he found another forest, so he could still cast Tyvar Stand. So he's he's
Yeah.
still in this. Trevor might be tempted to just Whisper of the Dross here at end step, but he decided, look, he has to chump block anyways if he wants to live based on the current board. So he doesn't need to
Yeah.
Whisper of the Dross. Well, he's drawn a Dross Skull Bomb now, which he can use to get back his Evangelist if the game goes significantly longer.
Yeah, I always like it when players do this, like when they're ahead and they don't have and they're not forcing the issue, because like sometimes you try to force the issue and then your opponent actually does have an answer, and then it puts you away from a winning position.
Yeah, and now his
Like
Whispers of the Dross is gonna, you know, blow out the Tyvar Stand here.
exactly. Like if he whispers of the dross before, like Maxim has the Tyvar stand in response, and then he still has the 3-1. Whereas in this situation, you kind of just lock up the game.
Yeah, like even when you're ahead, you do need to play carefully. You can't just, don't just throw away your removal if you don't need to. Like if you did at end step, he would have just untapped and, Maxi would have still had to block, but, you know, this worked out much nicer. All
Yeah,
right,
I've pushed
so
out the whisper of the dross of Maxim's own whisper of the dross so that he doesn't die to poison.
yeah, so you can just draw Skull Bomb, get back the Vivisection Evangelist, and just basically, have that hanging over Maxime's next turn. Basically saying, even if you have a creature, you know, this is what's going to happen to it.
Yep. Maxim draws a land, and we're gonna get a game of 3.
All right, well, it's our first game 3 tonight, so that's a good sign. All right, any sideboarding he's thinking about here?
It is currently still loading up a bit.
Okay.
Uh, think he's going to do a bit more looking at his sideboard. Probably going to change things up a bit because he's going to be on the play this time.
Yeah. I know he wasn't talking to him earlier. He wasn't like he's not super thrilled with the current state of his pool, but he's sort of playing the best deck he could string together here.
Yeah, knowing his first pool, I think his first pool was just stronger, just because it had a whole lot more rares.
Yeah, I think he was mostly just playing like streamlined 2-color decks with like medium success. So
Yeah,
went for the completion here as many people have. Yeah,
yeah,
this is like the league where we've seen the least out of set cards. I think.
yeah. I've seen the completion mechanic. People like have done it at various points in the league, but it's mostly just like people feel forced into completing once their deck starts not performing that well, and they're just kind of hoping on praying on that this gamble pays off, because you can reroll your pool and still not get a great pool. Like that's still an option.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that you're getting an upgrade, but
Yeah.
yeah, I believe as far as I know, they're both. Or I don't know if Trevor's completed, but I know Maxime has. Yeah, so he's looking at what was he looking at here? I think he was looking at taking out the other zealot's conviction. And
I
I
will
think he
say
was
that
bringing in more copies of Mandible Justiciar, which is not really on plan, I would say, but just a
he just wants more
nice
two
little
drops.
lifelink creature. Yeah, it's just like they kind of trade unfavorably with batter fists a lot of the time.
Yeah, but in this format where it's so aggressive, like having a lifelink 2-drop is a lot better than normal.
Yep, it is good. Like I said, it's like very very off plan for his like otherwise poison deck, but
Yeah.
Mandible Justiciar is a good card. Like I've said before, Lifelink just seems to keep getting better as with each passing set. It seems like Lifelink just gets stronger and stronger. Though in this set with poison, sometimes Lifelink actually isn't enough, but
Yeah.
frequently against most decks, Lifelink will give you advantage. All right, so yeah, he took out Vraska's Fall, I think, and Zealot's Conviction to bring in multiple Mandible Justiciars.
You know, I will say this, that Rascal's Fall does a good job against again. against the Tyvar stand. Like
Yeah,
if the one creature you want to get rid of is the only creature they have.
yeah. It's
Uh,
just when you see a bunch of barbed batter fists, Vraska's Fall starts looking kind of undesirable.
yeah, that's true.
Right, so Trevor's got a nice functional hand here. He's got a Blight Belly Rat to get started. He's got a Bladed Ambassador, Rib Skiff. He's got an Incubation Sac, but no green mana yet. But he does have plays for the next 2 turns. So off goes the rat. What's Maxime looking at there?
Maxime's looking at a hand once again with no green and a fistful of removal. Essentially, he has Hexgold Slash, Rebel Salvo, Volt Charge, and his green card is Tyvar Stand and Contagious Vorak.
All right, so he's playing the removal game here.
Yeah, probably wishing that he kept the Anoint with Affliction for this Blade Ambassador instead of using it on the Rat. But
Yeah, so
hindsight.
yeah, so interesting to see if Trevor decides to tap out here for the Rib Skiff. I think he probably feels like he has to, but against four mana and all the removal he's seen, yeah. So he can get rid of this Blade Ambassador, and then the Rib Skiff actually dies to Hexgold Slash
Yeah,
or Salvo.
I'm ass- I'm definitely assuming that Maxime's just gonna Volt Charge this 3/1. Oh, he's just
This
going to look for his forest.
okay, yeah. It's like usually you don't really want to be sacking your lands on turn 4, but without anything else to do and his hand having a bunch of cheap removal, it's not too big of a cost here. So he's going to take this opportunity to get this off the board. Yep. And he still has Hexgold Slash up, so even if Trevor finds something to crew,
Yeah,
this is actually kind of a good draw here with no pressure on Maxime's side, drawing the Phyrexian Arena for the turn.
yeah, it's quite excellent.
This is actually kind of perfect here. And he's run a
Phyrexian
black
Arena,
and he's run a Black
yeah,
Sun's Twilight and a Wanderer, so okay.
yeah.
You played your
He's just
rare, and
kind of
your rare
drawn.
drew you more rares. So that's always how you want it to go.
He's played a game in such a way where like he has found he can play the attrition war,
Yeah, the Rebel
and
Salvo is going to kill this though.
yes,
Hmm.
and he's probably forced to Hex Gold Slash this 2/2 now as well.
Yeah, so answering things one for one is all all good and well here, but when your opponent's drawing 2 cards a turn, it's not as good. 1 for 1 removal, you're going to run out of it. Okay, so here's a Furnace Strider that is going to get Black Sunned almost assuredly next turn.
Probably get back a 3. We'll get back the only thing that he can get is the 3/1, right? So
Yeah, unfortunately, the 3 won't be able to crew because it comes into play tapped, but
yeah.
he'll be able to get this Furnace Strider off the board here. Yeah,
Okay, so does Trevor have a land in hand?
he does.
So he could actually bring back the 3/1 and then hold up indestructible activation.
Yeah, yeah. So he does have a
Okay.
swamp here that he's going to play in a moment. So yeah, here comes the Ambassador, and he now can protect it. And in his hand, he's drawn a Prophetic Prism, which will let him cast his Incubation Sac, so he'll be able to start making 3/3s.
Once again, Maxime has drawn a Vorak. He's probably hard forced to crack his land, try and find a green source again.
Yeah, so he's got 3 green cards, I guess.
Yeah, he has a Tyvar stand and 2 Vorak.
All right, and his other card is
A Capricious Hellraiser. So if he actually drew a
okay.
land, he could have played that and would have
Yeah,
probably hit a non-creature spell.
yeah, that's the
Like,
big triple red dragon there. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so off goes the land, and even worse
It's
because
fine.
like he doesn't have the 3rd red for his dragon even, which the dragon could
Yeah.
potentially catch him up, but with no pressure, Phyrexian Arena is just a busted magic card.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when all the decks were slow and limited, and like all the creatures were pretty bad. Phyrexian Arena was amazing, but like as we've seen in this draft format, Phyrexian Arena probably not where you want to be in most games of limited Phyrexia all would be
Yeah.
one, but in league where the decks are wonky, even in week 4, you have Maxime with a bit of like wonky mana base. He does have 4 Terramorphics, but still a bit wonky here. He's drawn a Stinging Hive Master here as a follow up. He can also cast his Incubation Sac, and his last card in hand is okay. Well, he kept the Incubation Sac, but he drew his other Wanderer, so he's going to be wrapping up this
Wow.
game in short order in all sorts of ways here. He basically
Yeah,
has it all here in the Phyrexian Arena. Just dug him exactly where he needed to be.
yeah. This format is very unforgiving if you're gonna play 3 mana to not affect the board.
Yeah, so I mean, like Maxime's hand was set up to like kill the first few creatures he played, which it did, but it was not set up to answer Phyrexian Arena. All right.
Yeah, he just not having green. If he was able to play green, he could have played like Vorat, some like creatures to put pressure on Trevor.
Yeah.
And backed up with removal. That's a game plan in its own way.
Yeah,
But
Maxime's a very level headed player, but he must be getting a little upset by by what's occurring in this game. So he's actually just unless he has a removal, he's actually taking 10 here. Yeah,
no, he doesn't have anything. He's
yeah. So a bit of a rough beat there with rare finding more rares and wrapping up this game while Maxime had his mana troubles with all the green cards in hand. So congratulations to Trevor, first win in his first feature match, and we'll be back next week.